Hey there, fellow road traveler. Welcome. I'm John the Mouse. I have been in the trucking industry for over 20 years. I have been sharing different sites along the way and will continue to tell you my raw stories, expert tips, and must-know insights for your home and business to keep you rolling. Learn the ins and outs of heavy machinery, master road conditions, and drive alongside the different trucking lifestyle. Whether you're a driver, traveler, gearhead, or just love the cheese of the matter, gear up and let's travel this great highway together. Fellow driver, are you gripping that coffee cup like it's your only lifeline? All you can hear is the screeching of tires, the crunch of metal from that semi-crash echoing through your bones. Your hands might still shake when you think about it. And what about your family at home? This last accident, I just realized how much it affected my family. They're feeling those aftershocks, even though they were not in the accident. Their hearts begin to race every time they picture me in that wreck, waiting for you to call to say you're still breathing. This continued until I was home and could spend a few days with them, talking them through the accident and other concerns that they had. Look, I'm no doctor, but I'm sharing what's worked for me and my family after surviving a few accidents over my 20 plus years of trucking. I've been there. Your heart is pounding like it's from a racehorse. Do your legs feel like they are jelly and can't move? Personally, I've never had that experience of jelly legs. I'm giving you a trigger warning for ones that might be triggered from past traumatic events that they might have experienced in their life. I'm showing this footage so you can see my qualifications on speaking on the matter. I want you to take away there are others that have made it through to the other side. At John the Mouse University, it is about teaching you about all the different skills you need to operate a transportation company. I will be taking you on the last few accidents that I have been in and that I have the dash cam footage on. I know I don't have to remind you how fast an accident can happen. Just a little background on this dash cam footage. This is located in Denver, Colorado on a city street that has a 35-mile-an-hour speed limit. This individual is pulling out of a scrapyard with his pickup truck with paper plates. As he gets into the southbound lane, he loses control or he aims his truck into my lane that I'm traveling in. During the impact, his truck comes to a complete stop and I continue moving forward, leaking fuel all over the road. On the way out of the semi, I press the save button on the dash cam and turn the truck off. Then I go to the individuals to see if they need help. As you can see, they are out of the pickup truck with some front end damage. I'm not sure if they're hurt, as they could only communicate in Spanish. I did see all their airbags had been deployed. This accident is still developing as I am writing the script for this video. I wish I could say this is the only time a vehicle has hit me, but it's not. In 2 days, I got back in the saddle to drive the broken semi back home, so it could get fully fixed at home as we wait for the parts. In the meantime, I jumped into another truck for a few days, and then I took a few days off to spend with my family that really needed me to be there during this time. For me, it was no big deal, but for them, it was worse. The next accident involves a dust storm in Nebraska. These dust clouds were popping up every once in a while from field to field. They only lasted a few seconds, and you would be through them and back in the clear, windy weather. This dust cloud was a little bit different, as it was persistent. You had someone stopped in the lane of traffic with only split seconds to react. Before we go further, I want to point out that you don't stop your vehicle on the highway. You always pull off the roadway as far as possible and turn your lights off. I know what you're thinking. You want to know what my thoughts were before the impact. After I repositioned the semi to avoid the car, and the other semi came into the picture, I knew I did all I could do, and I knew the rest was up to God. I closed my eyes at the last second and thought of my family. The next few moments, I felt the impact of the other semi-truck. I felt the heat penetrating from the door on my leg, closest to the driver's side door. My first instinct was that the truck was on fire, and I needed to get out as soon as the truck came to a complete stop. My left hand went for the door handle as my right hand went to unbuckle the seatbelt. Just as you would suspect, I couldn't open the door. I could barely open up my eyes because the wind was blowing dirt and other stuff through the broken windshield, landing everywhere inside the truck. I had to climb over stuff that relocated itself from the sleeper area to the front of the cab. So what do you think so far? Should I have trauma after that? We will jump ahead a little. I was back in the saddle within a week before I had my 2 staples taken out of my head. I did some shorter runs as my one knee would hurt a little, as my leg would swell after about 6 hours, and I would have to elevate it for a few hours before the swelling would go back down. After swapping stories with other drivers that had accidents, I realized we all face the same storm: shock, fear, anxiety, panic. Today, we're diving into that immediate chaos and how it hits you, how it hits your family, and how talking about it weaves that crash into a story you can tell that you survived, not one that defines you. Let me remind you that you're tougher than a Peterbilt hauling an oversized load, and together with your loved ones at your side, you'll steady that steering wheel. For the rest of this video, I'm riding shotgun with you. Let's roll through this together. That crash wasn't just a hit to your rig, your livelihood. It was a jolt to your brain, like a ship's captain caught in a squall. Your amygdala, that little part in the center of your brain that goes haywire, dumping cortisol and adrenaline into your body. It's like you're pouring more diesel and nitrous into a runaway rig. And with that semi's 80,000 pounds, it packs 30 times more than a car's impact. Now, this is repeated by some law firms, so no wonder it shakes you to the core. It's a big, scary number, but it really all depends on your weight that you're comparing. Not every truck is at 80,000 pounds, and not every car is at 2,000 pounds. Shock hits you first. You're numb, foggy, like you're floating outside your body. It's like watching the wreck on a glitchy dash cam footage. Your memories are fragmented bits of screeching brakes, flashing lights, but no clear story of what happened. A 1999 study in the American Journal found 13% of 122 motor vehicle accident survivors hit acute stress disorder, or ASD, within a month. 21% for semi crashes, especially on high risk stretches like I-95 at dusk or I-80 in the blizzard. Why is this? Your brain's memory processing stalls, leaving trauma scattered like a spilled load across the highway. I want to stress the first step is talking it out, whether it's in the comments or with a therapist, or a buddy over a CB radio, your spouse at the kitchen table. You need to start piecing those fragments into a coherent story, turning that raw panic into a I survived moment. I understand what you are going through. You have seen some of my survived moments. You will survive too. A 2017 Journal of Traumatic Stress study showed that narrative exposure therapy, that's where you talk through the event of the accident, like I've talked about earlier, that you should be doing. They find it cuts acute stress disorder, ASD, symptoms by 60% by building a timeline of your accident that makes sense to your brain. Then that fear and panic rolls in like a storm front. Your heart's pounding like a jackhammer, your palms are stickier than a wet tarp. Every rig on the road looks like a missile ready to strike. A 2022 meta-analysis in the Science Direct of 16,917 survivors of an accident says that 30% of the people develop vehicle phobia. That would be a fear of driving within days or weeks, often tied to that I'm done moment when the crash hits. Unfortunately, my family has also experienced this. My grandpa was driving a semi-truck fully loaded down a highway going 55 miles an hour. He came upon an intersection where this lady with a child in the back seat rolled into the intersection from waiting behind a stop sign and was broadsided with the force of the loaded semi-truck. Grandpa parked the truck in the ditch and ran back to use his training from the U.S. Army to help. She died, leaving a little one without a mother. Later, it was determined that she had a massive heart attack, but they couldn't determine if it was before, during, or after the impact. After that day, he stopped driving semi-trucks. He did everything from a pickup truck and trailer. If he needed a semi work, his sons would have to step up and do it. It doesn't even have to be that bad for you to change your life. I was communicating with Southern Belle on X about her accident. No one passed away from her accident, but it had such a massive impact on her life that she changed her life to drive 90% less. She was behind a semi-truck when one of the tires exploded. The small chunks of rubber went everywhere. Then you had a gator jump out and bite her car that took her car down into that lonely meridian where the fear and the shock took a hold of her. I'm afraid to inform you, women face over 4.5 times higher acute stress disorder, or ASD, risk. And if you got prior anxieties or a history of trauma, it's like hauling a load without an oversized permit. It doubles your odds of negative outcomes. Back in the day, You know, the good old days, pre-1990s. The attitude was walk it off, cowboy. Drivers were told to climb back in the cab, no questions asked. But a 1995 study by Blanchard changed the game, proving a motor vehicle accident are leaving scars deeper than the pocket you need for all the chrome accessories you want for your truck. Let's open the hood and let's rewire how we understand this trauma together. Even if you're flinching at every shadow, thinking it's another rig was coming to get you. My wife is worried every time I leave the house for the road. As I hug and kiss her goodbye, she tells me to come back to her. I tell her I will. So far, I've kept my promise to my family. Your family may not be in the cab of the truck with you, but they're in their own storm too. This secondary trauma ripples from your crash, hitting them at different angles and strengths. A 2015 Journal of Traumatic Stress study found that 20 to 30% of loved ones, that would include your spouse, kids, and parents in this study, they show PTSD-like symptoms like anxiety, hypervigilance, or nightmares, imagining your wreck, or dreading your next haul. Your spouse might hover, checking your ETA excessively, texting every hour. Your kids might be clingy, asking, "Are you coming back, Dad?" Or get quiet, bottling up their fear. Your parents might call nonstop, their voices tight with worry. Their memories are fragmented too. They have pieced it together from your shaken voice on the phone, maybe a news clip of the wreck, or from the photos of your mangled up vehicle. Talking together as a family face to face, sharing the facts of what happened in the accident, not the what ifs. This really helps them weave it into a story of, we survived, we are not broken. After this recent accident in Denver, Colorado, I sent the dash cam footage to my wife so it could help explain more in depth than just me saying, I got hit with this pickup truck. I told her I was okay and sent pictures as I had to finish up with the accident paperwork and deal with the aftermath. We talked later about what was going on. After a few days, the truck was bandaged up so I could take it home so I could get it fixed properly. I moved on to another truck and started hauling freight right away. As life goes on, I failed to realize about the storm that was brewing at home. A few days have passed, and I was able to swing by the house for a 10-hour break. That's when the next morning my wife was up early to talk about her concerns. My son asked, "You okay, Dad?" When he said goodbyes and told me, "Come back to us safely," I realized after I left that I needed to get back as soon as possible to talk more face to face about this latest accident to him. Over the next few days at home, we talked about their fears and what actually happened. Hearing the details helped them stop imagining the worst, like all that spilled fuel catching on fire. Diesel fuel is safer than gasoline for ignition. It's not like you see in the movies. The fumes in the gasoline will ignite faster than the fuel will. Talking it out, even the rough, tough parts, made him feel safer. Let me crack open my logbook, something I haven't shared on my YouTube channel. As you probably know, when you have been with a person that you have a real connection with, you start sensing when things have gone bad. Doesn't matter how far away I am, she knows when something bad has happened. From someone trying to rob my load in Detroit to different accidents over the years. Doesn't matter what it is. Talking with my wife, laying out exactly what happened. I know for us it has helped calm our fears from running wild in our minds, replaying the worst case scenarios. Picturing your loved one gone is hard at any age, but that's not what happened. Another driver, Southern Belle, posted on her X about a semi-tire blowing at 70 miles an hour, sending her crashing into the Meridian. Tears streaming as she gripped the steering wheel. She wrote, "That explosion's still in my head, but sharing it here and with my family's helping me breathe again." Talking online and with her loved ones made her a survivor, not a victim. Your storm is real for you and your family, but talking about it anchors you all, turning that crash into a mile marker, not a dead end for you. What does it look like in the short term? Well, for many, hypervigilance kicks in overdrive. Behind every shadow, you have a semi waiting to strike. Irritability like sea beach static. Snapping at folks you love. Your sleep's wrecked with flashbacks hitting like rogue headlights in the fog. A 2020 Ethiopian study saw an 18.4% of the survivors would have panic attacks. It'd be worse if there was blood, glass, or twisted metal in the scene. Your family, they're jumpy, maybe clingy, or avoiding crash talk altogether. They are scared to make it real. They or you might not want to look at your rig for the weeks because all you see is that damage and pain. 50 to 70% of acute symptoms ease naturally within weeks of the accident if you act with constructive coping strategies. This is for the psychiatric clinics of North America. Long term, though, untreated ASD fuels PTSD in 80% of the cases, so don't let it idle. Your family's worry can fester too, turning it into a chronic anxiety if you don't talk it out with them. If you can't, find someone that can help. Now, coping for you and your loved ones. Now that we know, let's load up your toolbox with some stuff I've used and shared with other drivers. You can try the grounding yourself with the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 technique. Now, this technique, you name 5 things you see, like the neon diner sign glowing, fuel pumps, semis in the parking lot, people walking. It's sunny outside. Now, the next thing, you name 4 things you can touch, like the steering wheel, CB mic, the rubber on the tire, or how smooth your hood is. Now, the next thing is you name 3 things you can hear, like the radio hum, that distant Jake brake going off, birds chirping. Name 2 things you smell, like that pine freshener hanging from the rearview mirror. Or how about that diesel smell? Then name 1 thing you taste, like that truck stop coffee. It's bitter, but warm. The Anxiety and Depression Association of America claims it works. Personally, I haven't used it, so I don't know. You can try this box breathing. You inhale for 4 seconds, then hold your breath for 4 seconds, and then you exhale for 4 seconds, and then you hold it for 4 seconds. Usually I just do a couple, breathe in and breathe out. Talk it out's the next one. This one I really rely on the most. You share your crash's facts, what happened, step by step, with your friend, or you can do it with a therapist or your family to ease their what ifs. You can even write it down on paper, what happened versus what ifs. You know, these facts over fears, like writing, tires skidded, I held the steering wheel, I'm here, not what if I flipped. That journaling can cut your anxiety down by 40%, is what they claim. For loved ones, set a daily alarm so you don't forget to text or call, I'm safe. You can text your wife at every fuel stop. Just all good, love you, can become your anchor. Talk openly about the crash so you can normalize it. Don't let it loom like a storm cloud, just hanging around for that next downpour to come on you. Family therapy might be a game changer for you, cutting that secondary trauma. Using early cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, halves the ASD odds for you or them, so I would also consider using it. It focuses on the connection between thoughts, emotions, and action to treat mental health issues like depression and anxiety, replacing it with a more logical and positive self-talk and actions, and that can reduce de-stress. I make sure to call my family each night saying, Dad's okay, just driving around. Use humor to lighten the load. Trauma is a bad hitchhiker. Talk it off the rig with your family. Maybe over some diner pie and some bad coffee. Here's another tip. You can carry a small notebook in your cab, jotting down one thing you are grateful for each day. Like, my rig is still running, or my wife's voice is on the phone. It sounds small, but these little things can keep you grounded. Now, with YouTube, I've learned you need just to tell your story. It's like unloading a bad pallet. It's not going to do it by itself. Every time I've shared with others, the weight has gotten lighter. Remember, your family's in this too. Maybe you can start a routine to leave little notes at the house or in the car, like, you got this, keep rolling. Those notes can be worth gold. Reminding others that they aren't just hauling alone. Try that with your loved ones. Little small gestures, like a quick text or a quick call, can really build a bridge. You and your loved ones are survivors, tougher than a triple axe load climbing a 6% grade. My crashes taught me talking about the accident and staying grounded work. Not just for me, but for my wife, my kid, and even your parents who call too much. I'm sure my YouTube community has seen it too, from drivers to their families, sharing stories of shock, fading into strength. You're not broken. You're navigating the storm together. And remember, a positive nudge. Every word you share, every call home, every deep breath paves your road. You can drop a comment, what's one thing you're grounded with, or talk about your family today. We're rolling to a calmer seas together. You, me, and
I
your loved
truly
ones.
appreciate you spending time with us today. Thank you for watching. I would love to see you as part of the John the Mouse University. I can't wait to see you there. Here's a few videos you might enjoy. Thanks again. Until we meet again.